Those of you who are not aficionados, maybe you can tell me what kind of knot that is. All right, we'll let it run for an hour or two. God, it's so bright here. I don't know if you guys can see a little culvert right here. That's the output side of the culvert that goes underneath the driveway. And this is what the input side looks like. Yeah, we had a lot of rain, and I apologize if I'm misframing everything. I actually cannot see crap because the screen on this camcorder is actually so useless in bright sunlight. So yeah, you can see how much rain we must have gotten to fill up that ditch way back up there. Yeah, that's the input side right there. You know, nothing's being input. And in fact, this isn't even how high it was. Let me go over there and actually point. You see this rock right here? The water actually got just above the very bottom of that rock right there. So yeah, that's how high the water was. And we're not done yet. I'm filming this on a Thursday, and supposedly Sunday, Monday, we're gonna get another whole inch of rain. So yeah, so I'll show you something I made to deal with this, because our culvert obviously is not draining shit. Yeah, I really like it when people put the electrical cord under the big coil of hose. I hope you guys can see this. I can't. Yeah, okay. We're moving the fucking camera. It's stupid horse shit. So, pump. Here's the problem. The intake is there. So if you just put this and let it sit vertical, it's just gonna suck weeds in. So if you're a board engineer, what do? You get Gatorade bottles and baling wire, and you make a stupid little floaty thing to turn your regular pump into a floaty pump that floats on the surface. Now obviously I need the big bottles. I need 3 of the big bottles instead of 4 bottles total, and most of them are small, but I think you get the idea. All right, let's go down to the barn. I want to show you another little thing I've done being a board engineer, getting bored and having to do boring shit to make my life less boring. Welcome to the shed where we store a bunch of our hay. We don't store it all here. This isn't big enough for all the hay we need, but this stores quite a lot of it. I know you can't see the hay right now. Don't worry, I'm getting to that. Here's the problem that I had. You can see that this little thing it's pretty low, especially if you're as tall as I am. You know, ducking under this while carrying a bale of hay, or 120 bales of hay, gets old pretty fast. So luckily, it is hinged. But because this is made out of rough sawn lumber, which doesn't have the planer takeoff part of the mass, it's actually pretty heavy. Even for someone like me, 6 feet tall, this is a little bit of an effort doing this. So I needed a system to hold this up. And not just hold it up this high, because then it'll just hit me in the fucking head again. It needs to be held up as high as it can possibly be held. Obviously, it needs to be secure. I don't want it dropping down and giving me a concussion while I'm throwing hay bales through here. At first, we tried this T-handle that we use to break the water in the water tanks during the winter. Still hit my head coming through here. Not a good solution. Then we found this old dead treetop. This is a little better. Holds it up a little higher, but it tends to get in the way, and it's not the most stable thing in the world. So this is my question to you, my fellow engineers. Here's the problem you're confronted with. How do you fix this? What do you build to make it better? Obviously, simpler is better. Obviously, cheaper is better. Keep in mind, we are outside. We get exposed to ultraviolet light. We get snow, rain, sub-freezing temperatures easily. It's Colorado, man. It snows here. It gets cold. So what would you do? What kind of system would you build to hold this door up? And simpler is better. It's lighter than it looks. It's dry and it's dead. So hopefully you can see what I've done here. Rope ties onto the bottom of the door here, goes up to that pulley. I'll get you a closer look at this in a second. Over to this pulley, back down here to a cleat. Let me just show you how it works before we zoom in and look at the pieces. Undo the barrel bolt that holds the whole thing closed. And then you can use your strong hand to lift that up. Pull on the rope. Pull it all the way up. I don't know if you can see how far that pulley goes up. We'll get a close-up in a second. Do your proper double figure eight. And then another wrap around. There you go. Total cost was about $25, but I bought at a fancy yuppie hardware store in Boulder, Colorado that overcharges for everything. I'm sure if you just had rope and pulleys lying around, you could do this a lot cheaper. Let me pull this back down, and I'll get you some little close-ups. You can see each individual part. So there is the cleat setup, and the reason that the rope is tied off like that is I found that the amount of rope that you have to pull through this system to get the door to come up is enough so that if you don't tie off that end of the rope right there, by the time you've pulled enough rope through it to get the door open, the end of the rope has gone right into the animal's water tank. Now, it's nylon rope, so it's not that big a deal. Nylon doesn't care about, water, mold, etc. I really do need polyester jacketed nylon just to resist the ultraviolet. This rope is going to embrittle in a couple years, but for the moment, just for setting up the basic system, I thought it was good enough. So, starting there at the cleat, going up to that pulley. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got some pretty thick hooks to hold those pulleys up. That makes it easy to maintain. If the pulley goes bad, the bearing goes bad, whatever, rusts out, I'll just be able to pull it right off. Goes up to that pulley. And one last thing let's talk about. So first of all, this knot here is a figure eight knot, because I actually looked it up on the internet, and a figure eight knot supposedly weakens the rope the least out of all knots. The other nice thing about a figure eight knot is if this were to come loose it would be very visually evident because everybody knows what a figure 8 knot is. They know what it looks like. And it's very, very obvious if that knot starts to come loose. Now, one sort of non-obvious thing that I do want to show you. I don't know if you can tell how that's actually wrapped around the lower 2x4 in that door, but basically as the rope pulls up, it's sort of unwinding or unspooling off this bottom 2x4. And so you maintain a good pull from the bottom of the 2x4, even as you pull more rope in, and that remains true all the way up to the top. Oh shit, this thing can't actually lean backwards. So even as you go all the way up, you're still pulling on the bottom of the door all the way until the door actually hits the pulley all the way up at the top. And that's how I guarantee that that door is getting as high as it possibly can. It's actually hitting those joists up in there. So yeah, there you go. Simple system, but the details have been gotten right. And, except for the UV embrittlement that I mentioned, because this is pure nylon rope instead of polyester jacketed, I expect the system will last a long time. Yeah, simple, small, easy thing. But let me tell you, after the third time you smash your head on this stupid thing, putting a bale of hay in here, you're going to want something simple, easy, cheap, and reliable to hold up the door for you, too. Hope you're having a good one. Stay safe out there, stay healthy. I've only got my first shot, but my second one's coming soon. And stay salty, my friends. Well, framing is hard when you can't even see the frickin' viewfinder because it's so bright. Lama hulembar. Llamas are lamer.